You guys came out with energy, and you guys have always preached, punching first. What was kind of happening in the second half that you guys weren't able to bring that energy?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we came out exactly how we wanted to, and then we just lost it. Like we got to make that adjustment out of the locker room. You can't come out the second half like that against a team like Indiana who can score in such bunches. And I mean, I'm happy with how we started, but we have to make it consistent throughout the 40-minute game.
I mean, obviously, film will show you, what is going to be there. But like, this has been a theme lately. You guys are in for like 38 minutes and then it's gone. So how do you guys try and find that consistency, especially if with a postseason push on the line?
I mean, all that it really comes down to is you have to play through it. I mean, there's not much practice time to kind of replicate those kind of situations. So we have to learn from game to game, as cliche as it sounds. And so, yeah, like you said, it's been a theme for probably the last 4 games in a row where we haven't really been able to close it out, or we haven't been consistent. So it just has to come from in-game experience. We have to be able to adjust and make those adjustments a little bit quicker. So, yeah.
Just kind of wondering first, what was the defensive game plan that you guys were kind of looking at to try to contain Clark tonight and Boston, kind of that tandem?
I mean, go over as much as we could on Boston, because we know that they're a very pick and roll heavy team. So, yeah, really just go over on her, make it difficult, make her a passer. Obviously, she's a good player, so she was able to get a lot of things on us. But, yeah, that was pretty much the plan.
And then for both of you, just when you're looking, especially going into a road trip, when you're looking at kind of a losing streak like this one, how do you mentally prepare for this road trip and trying to break that?
Desperate. We need to play desperate. Like we have to give everything we have every single night, every minute on the court. It's not going to be pretty. We got to learn how to play through adversity. That's another thing that we need to grow from. We were a younger team, but who cares? No one cares. No one feels bad for us. We got to play through it. We got to stop fouling. But we got to start playing desperate. We have to take it to a whole nother level of, do we want to be in playoffs or not? Are we going to just pack our bags and go home? Let's figure it out right now. So we're about to play 2 really good teams. Minnie and Vegas are tough and on the road. So who cares? No one feels bad for us. We got to figure it out. We need to go in there and act different. Like, we got to be desperate for this.
Guys, 5th straight loss, but obviously, unlike the last, this is double digits. What's missing? What's missing from this team right now?
I mean, obviously, it hurts not having Kennedy too. Like, that's an obvious missing piece, our leading scorer, right? But I think in the locker room we discussed it's defense. I mean, obviously, offensively we got to take care of the ball, and there's stuff we need to clean up. We need to execute better. But we're going to win games against teams like this, playing defense and finishing possessions.
Yeah.
And I thought we are lack of effort at times. We played through the whole thing. We played through the whole shot clock, and then we'd either foul or we would give them an offensive board score. And that's kind of unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you.
No.
This is really for both of you. How do you stay motivated after a game like this? And what message do you like to tell to the locker room going forward?
I mean, we're professionals. I mean, this is our job. So, I mean, you come to work every day to be better and be the best version of yourself. And that should be motivation within itself. Losing something like this and losing, 5 games in a row, that for me motivates me. I think in the locker room, it's the same sentiment as well. I don't want to be a loser. We don't want to be losers. And we're in a position right now where we can be successful. Like, we are still in playoffs, even throughout the adversity. And so that, I know the people in the locker room are very motivated, and we're going to go into Minnesota, do our best, go to Vegas, do the best we can as well, and hopefully we have a different outcome.
If you're not motivated getting your ass whooped, then we got a problem. Then don't put on the uniform, because you better feel this in your chest.
You both touched on this a little bit. Just offensively, it seems like it's taking a little bit for you guys to get into your sets, into your action, and then you're having to kind of push at the end of the shot clock. What do you think is maybe the motivating factor in that, and how do you break out of that, especially with Kennedy being a little bit undetermined just in terms of her availability?
I mean, we've kind of implemented a little bit more of a offense that helps us move the ball, because we have had situations where we are a little stagnant, and we have kind of addressed that. It's new for us, obviously having, rookie bigs who are, not really used to coming out of the paint at times. And so that's just really a work in progress. Like I said, it's kind of new for us that we put that in, but we'll get better at it. I think right now that's probably our best offense, moving the ball, cutting, using the screen. And so I think we'll just, as time goes on, we'll get better at it.
Michaela, you and Lindsay really were instrumental in getting out on that huge run at the beginning of the game. You all worked really well as a tandem, helping to fill the void with Kennedy's absence. Could you just describe like the chemistry that you two have that went into that collective performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I respect your question, but I don't really care about how we didn't win. That for me is the most important to me. And so, like you said, with obviously Kennedy out, offense has to come from somewhere else. She's a great player. We miss her quite a bit. But yeah, we just have to be better. Like, I don't really care about the points. Like, I just want to win at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Turnovers these last few games have been something we haven't really seen this level of since about the start of the season. I know film will probably show you something, but what do you attribute these turnovers to? Is it just missing passes? Is it, bad ball, like bad team turnovers? What do you think is leading to the lack of possessing the basketball?
Well, for me, I had 3. Personally, I have to be better in that. And a lot of it for me, I think, comes from trying to get the ball into the post. Obviously, we have really, really great bigs in Camilla and Angel, and they put a lot of pressure on, getting the ball into them. And so I have to be better in that way. And so sometimes it can be that. Sometimes, guards are being physical. Sometimes lack of communication can come from all over. I think that we did better because I believe in the last game or maybe the game before we had like 20 something. Yeah. So 13 is not great, but it's better than 23.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Last question. We'll go second row, right? Obviously, this is the big game and everything, but emotions got a little high, especially towards the ends of the game with all the calls and things of that sort. How do you guys stay composed, especially as a young team going through a tough stretch such as this?
I feel like us leaders and like us vets have to really step up in those moments. We got to really keep us composed. I think we could have done a better job of that. Like, we all were just kind of like losing our minds at the end and frustrated, and like we can't control that. Like, the refs are human. Wasn't great. Not even gonna get into that because I can't afford a fine.
Shit, I can.
But I really think us veterans have to just like really step up and be composed in those moments, because you can kind of see how it snowballed really quickly. So we got to be better in those moments of trying to like cut it down, because I mean, I don't know how many they shot. It felt like 300 free throws in the fourth quarter. I don't even know if I cracked a sweat because we were standing at the free throw line the whole time, but we got to be better. The vets have to step up and keep us composed.
But even through that, it's just a level of consistency. And I get it. Like, refs are human. I do understand. We're trying to do the best we can. But at times it feels like there's no consistency. And so as a player, it's hard when you're just, there's fouls every single possession. And so, like you said, in the fourth quarter, it felt like it was like, what happened? I don't even know what happened, but they're calling a foul, And so that, yes, I do agree with Rachel. Like, we have to be better. We have to be, as leaders, we have to be held accountable for that. But it's just like there's a level of consistency that it's just not there. So that's just the one thing we're just asking, like, okay, call whatever, but at least be consistent on both sides.
Yeah. Thank you, players. Thank you, guys.
Only combined for 16 points tonight. How do you get them more involved in a game like this, and where do you feel like maybe that was missing tonight?
Well, we have to be a little more intentional. Just like our guards just told you here, we have to get the ball inside. That's who we are. The ball must go inside. It has to go inside to our bigs. They are dominant in there. It helps when they dominate the paint. Then it helps us on the outside. It gives us an opportunity to have perimeter game. They understand how important that is and what it means to our success offensively.
And just to follow up on that, do you feel like that was coming from Angel and Camilla not like getting to their spots? Was it from the guards not like looking for them? Just where do you think that lack of?
I'll probably have to go back to the film and see, but there was a lack of rhythm and flow to try to move the ball and be able to get the ball inside to them from the right person. You might not be the person to make the pass, but who is? So let's get the ball to the right person to make the pass inside, and then we play off of that. That's who we are. That's what we do. And that's when we become a better team.
At this point in the season, what is this team missing?
What are we missing?
What are you missing? Fifth straight loss, this one by 19 points after 4 by no more than 4 points. What is this team missing?
We have a lot of things that we need to correct, and it starts on the defensive side of the ball. We are a defensive team, offensive runs. And if we're not getting stops, we're not being disruptive, we're allowing teams to get shots where they want it, how they want it, when they want it. Ball moves, swings from one side to the other, whether it gets to the second side, even the third side. It's very difficult to defend that. It's very difficult. So we have to be better on the defensive side of the ball. All 5 players. All 5 players. All right, you got to be disciplined when you're guarding the ball. You can't allow anybody to get behind you. You keep the ball in front of you. When you're closing out, which is probably the most difficult thing in the game of basketball, you got to be able to close out and be able to defend those people who put the ball on the floor. So that's defending off the bounce. And then those who can shoot it, you want to be able to make sure that you're out there to contest and contain, and then be able to do both. It's an approach. It's an approach. It is nothing more than an approach. And defense is a will and a want to. It's a desire. And defense is the hardest damn thing you're going to play in this game. The hardest thing you're going to play in this game is to defend. And you do so under control without fouling. In that third quarter, we sent them to the line over and over and over, over and over and over. We can talk about whatever the referee did, and that's it's what it is on that. I'm like, Rachel, I don't need to get fined. I don't need to get fined. So I think that's enough, tells you enough of what I think about how it's reffed.
Coach Spoon, you guys opened up the game and you guys have really preached punching first, and that just wasn't there in the second half. I know film will probably show you something, but what did you see where the energy was lost in that second half? I
can't really tell you until I take a look at that film. But like you said, that energy we came out with in the beginning, that's exactly how we have to play. You have to punch, but you can't punch once. You got to keep punching. Like we always says, 40 minutes to this game. And you're going to have a team like that who have runs. But now we have to remain composed and poised enough to break the run. That's the game. The game is just like this. But once a team get on the run, how do you stop it? How do you stop it? You execute your offensive stuff. You get back, you get defensive stops.
And then you heard your guard say that the veterans just need to step up here on this team. With this being such a young team, what do you ask of your veterans? What is it that they can do to kind of show these rookies and these young players what to do to win basketball?
Well, in times like these, this is the most important time to show the example of leadership. The most important time because of, sometimes it get a little chaotic out there and chaos is happening, but you got to gather your troops. And the way things are refereed, you just have to make your adjustments as well. As well as I do as a coach, I have to make my adjustments as well. So
that was the first time all season your team's allowed 100 points in a game. What makes the Fever so tough to defend?
Well, just like our player sat up here and said, if this doesn't sting, nothing stings. Plain and simple.
It seemed like there was a concerted effort to take more threes tonight. Was that something that you guys were planning on initially coming into the game, or was that something that
I missed the beginning? I'm sorry.
It seemed like the team was taking more threes. It seemed like that was a concerted effort tonight. Was that a game plan coming into this, or something that kind of was fell out through the game?
Well, we're a team who says if it's wide open, we want to take it. And if it's not, we want to put pressure in the paint. Punching it in and then playing from there. But if you're wide open, we want you to get your feet set and knock it down. And just so happened, Lindsay really got it going. And some things can become very contagious. And then everybody else start knocking down threes. And that's that joy we played with, that fun we played with, the energy, the effort we played with. But that same energy and effort from the time that ball came in on the floor in the first quarter has to be in second, third, and fourth.
Hi, Coach. People have mentioned tonight the sort of lack of poise in the second half and lack of effort maybe on defense. How much of that is connected to Angel having to sit long stretches of the second half?
Angel had 4 fouls. I got to protect that. And whoever steps on the floor, we trust and believe that they can get the job done as well. So when Angel has 4 fouls, I'm not going to leave her out there and then I'll have her at all for the fourth quarter. So everybody else have to step up defensively as well. Everybody. It's not one person. It's everybody. It's everybody. You can include me on that.
Coach, do you have a favorite comfort food that you eat after a loss?
I don't. I love this game that much. Appreciate you guys.